Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Play Rule the Waves as the United States episode number 18. We're out of war. I'm a little disappointed by it, but I was bringing back up temp. I also have brought up, once again, this name, so this will be Ticonderoga. Now, I was looking at this ship. I actually forgot a little bit about what were the things that were disappointing. Okay, first of all, we can see the gun design there. So we'll have to put those back because obviously the design for some reason didn't save. Or actually, it's only, I could just open it again and it'll work. Temp. There we go. So now it's back, but the thing I was looking at is, okay, this is minor. Saves us 100 tons, which on a 40,000 ton ship, pretty small percentage. There was a few comments. People talk about how I choose lower armor or seemingly lower armor for endgame ships, and that's pretty true. I wouldn't argue against that. I think it's just one of the things that I've eventually developed into is building ships with much lighter armor and instead putting them with more guns later in the game. I find that it's more effective. That basically armor, I mean, if we look at penetrations, this is like, people are probably bored of me doing this all the time, but if you look at penetration stats, unless you're at 20,000, okay, first of all, close range is when you're going to be using the belt armor, because if you're far away, you'll be arcing your shells more, so you won't be using it. So effectively, let's just say 20, let's just pretend 20,000 is the limit. That means at 20,000 for only 16-inch guns, quality 0, which there will be better than that. 16 I mean, there's quality 1, there's 17-inch guns, 18-inch guns, etc. So at what is probably like an average gun for end game penetration, we need at least 14 inches of armor to be able to defend against it. And if I just show you what 14 inches does for us, we are down 1,700 tons. Which we probably can get back if we just delete a turret. I think that's what somebody was saying, that they actually don't use 2 rear turrets. And I think there's some sense in that. We were able to get it back and then some. So we could do something like this, where we actually short our ship. I mean, this, by the way, looks really weird. In my opinion, we probably should get rid of aft and only have aft centerline superimposed, because it just doesn't look quite right with the gun that far back. It should probably be up a little bit further. Anyway, or this whole thing would probably be shifted a little more towards the stern. So it's possible, but basically it's such a sacrifice. Obviously, we're losing 3 guns per volley in order to do that. Now, first of all, we're not exactly protecting ourselves, and any engagement closer than 20,000, all of our armor is going to be penetrated. The limit on armor is what in this? 18. So, I mean, good lord, it doesn't even take that much more. If you're at 14, you might as well go. This almost seems like a... No, okay, wait, never mind. That's 2,000 additional tons. I stand corrected. You might as well go to 18, right? It's almost doable. It's almost doable. We could probably get 16. Now, as the United States, this might be the one nation, we can test out this kind of design. Let's save it for a little bit later of a design. I mean, we already can get to the max. What is the max? It's 42? 43? Wait, is it 50? What's the maximum design? Oh, 52,000. Okay, there. I was off by 10,000. So we can wait. We probably don't need to wait. 48,000. I mean, it's already... Okay, I mean, let me think about this. We currently don't have the reinforced quadruple turrets, the rate of fire thing. I still don't really see the sense in putting con tower that high, but we'll do it to 10 just so it's double digits so I can see what's going on. What are the penetration stats for deck? Now, you'll probably use deck. Let's just be conservative and say beyond 15. Wow, actually... dipped. We probably need to go for the max stat here. So the deck will be 6. That's just not going to happen. We can maybe go for 5. Yeah, could we get 6? No. 5.5 would be insane. I'm, by the way, a much bigger fan of going for larger deck than I am for larger belt. So this is buildable. I don't know if that's a word, but we can construct this. 166 million, let's remember that, for this, which only loses 3 guns. I mean, I'm kind of talking myself into this. Okay, so 166.5 versus, what was the original design? Let's go for that. Wow, 143. Well, I mean, it's only a difference of what, like a little bit over 20 million? It's not absurd. What is maintenance going to look like for this? We don't know. We don't know what maintenance would look like. And I actually assume maintenance would be worse. Well, it'd probably be worse on the larger one, but not by much. And I think only by way of displacement. I mean, common sense in my own head, I don't know if it's common sense, but I should say my own intuition is that armor is much easier to upkeep than guns. So it'd be much less expensive to maintain heavier armor than it would be to maintain more guns. Okay, so the crux of this episode is probably going to be mostly about whether or not we scrap ships. I hadn't made a decision coming into this episode, although I've heard arguments both ways. It's always nice. One of the things several people have asked about is what will happen if we actually replace engines on these O'Bannons. So a lot of people are saying, okay, these O'Bannons still look useful, but they just need higher speed. Let's see for ourselves what kind of speed we can get out of these if we replace machinery. I've heard numbers before we even check. I'm going to guess, I haven't looked, I'm going to guess 25. I was going to say 24, but we probably can get 25. But, okay, it might even be 26, but I've heard people saying 27, 28, which I don't want to build, I won't do it if it's, unless it's at least 28. Because 27 will still be, well, okay, 27 might be, it's on the margin. Let's find out. Okay, let's go to oil. I'd now take it back. Yeah, 25. I was right on the dot. Perfect. So 25 is obviously, this is replacing the machinery and going to oil. Even if we wanted, maybe we can go for speed, get another knot. But we cannot get to even 27. And this is a pretty expensive rebuild. 25 million. Not 24.5, right? So this is a very expensive 2 million over a whole year they will be in for rebuild. And this is why I never replace machinery. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to replace machinery. This is like a flavor thing. First of all, I wish replacing machinery wasn't this prohibitive. Like from a cost-benefit analysis, I feel like the game, even if it's realistic, it'd be nice if the game wasn't so hard on replacing machinery. I have a hard time believing that it's the cost of this ship. If we build it from scratch right now, let's take a look. Show all designs. Let's sort by, okay, it's sorted by class. That's perfect. The latest O'Bannon, which is the 1913, is 40. Yeah, this is absurd. It's 47 million to build this O'Bannon, which is comparable. It's 40. It's actually cheaper than it was. So let's say 50. Let's even say 50 to give to make my argument more conservative, but it'll still be powerful. It's 50 million, but it's... I did something wrong? Oh yeah, right. I didn't put the actual weight. But it's about half the cost of this ship entirely to just replace its engine. I mean, just replace its engine. It's no small undertaking, but I just feel like getting this ship up to what is still mediocre, from a combat standpoint, 22, 25 is almost no difference at all. All you want to do is be able to outrun battlecruisers, or there's 2 tiers pretty much: outrunning battlecruisers and not outrunning battlecruisers. Armored cruisers don't care about outrunning light cruisers. They prefer to catch up with them and hunt them down, but basically, to make this unit effective, it needs to be able to run away from battlecruisers since it's lighter than them. And it's not able to run away from battlecruisers if its speed is only 25. So you only really care about a speed which is faster than dreadnoughts, so let's call that 22 or 23. At least it could get away. A minimum of that. But if you, in order to get to the next tier, like 24, 25, 26 really doesn't help you do much other than run away a little bit faster or get chased down a little bit slower. Until you get up to like 28, 29, then you can actually, you have a real chance of running away from battle cruisers. You can get lucky and run away from battle cruisers if they choose to run away, if they're not sure about your identification right away when the battle first begins, and the AI is pretty flighty. But to really have a guaranteed chance, I mean, you're risking, this is a lot of points. One of these would probably be, I mean, I'm guessing like 8,000 points or something. Maybe it's less than that, maybe 5,000, but something really significant, enough to change the war. Now, we've done about 10 minutes of analysis, but I wanted everyone to kind of see where I'm coming from with my decisions. Not that I'm trying to say that these are absolutely the only way of playing the game, but from what I've done, I've played this game for a long time, and I don't even really like the fact that this is the way it is. I wish that replacing machinery was more viable. Let's see about replacing machinery, for example, on the Minnesotas, which we don't need to because they'll never get up to the tier where they can run away from battle cruisers. They never need to be at that speed. But even just replace the machinery. Let's see, first of all, what does this ship cost? Probably like 80 million, I'm guessing. It's been a while though, so let's just check real fast. So the Minnesota originally was, wow, it was way off, 54 million, about the same price. And the most recent, so let's just call this 60 to again be very conservative with this negative statement. But basically I'm not seeing how it's ever worth to replace the machinery. Now the rebuild cost on this is only 9 million, but we haven't done anything. We can get 2 extra knots, and now it's up to 11 million. Add on top of that, remember, on top of this, your maintenance will go up as well. The maintenance cost is related to the tonnage of the engine, I believe. So your maintenance will go up, and this costs 11 million, which is, let's say, 1/5. It's just about 1/5 the cost of a ship. So it's much more viable on the ships, which unfortunately need it the least. So I would definitely take this if speed mattered for the battleships. But it doesn't, so again, this is still a waste of money. Now, out of all the nations, the United States can get away with this if we wanted to. But I guess I've really talked myself into the fact that we'll probably end up scrapping these. And I'm going to say one last thing before we scrap them all, because there's one other element to this, and that is, someone has pointed out now that you actually don't need a battleship in the sea zones to force an invasion. I always thought it was a capital ship, like a battleship, dreadnought, battle cruiser. But someone has actually gotten invasion events to trigger by just building cheap destroyers. Just destroyers in the sea zone cause this to happen. Yeah, so first of all, invasion mechanics hopefully will be worked out. I've seen a post about World of Waves 2 where they say you're going to have more control of your invasions. Invasions will be something you actually dictate. You say, we're invading here, and then it happens. So it's not left to chance anymore. I don't know what the negative side of that is, because it seems like, okay, well, I'm just going to invade all the time. Maybe there's a huge penalty you pay in battle choices, or I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But right now, one of the main reasons I was always keeping around my battleships was to put them in Southeast Asia, as we saw, and we didn't even get an invasion event. And now you're telling me I can just build a really cheap 1-point destroyer, and one 1-point destroyer is going to cost much less than an 8-point battleship. It'll cost, obviously destroyers are per point the most cost-effective thing you can get in the game. You might think about building light cruisers. They'll definitely be much more expensive. I mean, 130 compared to what, 10? 20. So 20,000 versus 100, let's say, in 20, it's still 6 to 1, and the ratio of points is not 6 to 1, it's like 3 to 1. I think light cruisers are 3 points, destroyers are 1. It's not more than 3, but I don't think it's 2. So yeah, that means 3. So lots of math going on in the first 15 minutes of the episode. Let's actually start advancing the turn a little bit, for the love of God. But okay. We got mine lane submarines, that's actually good, but let's go ahead and let's do what needs to be done, and that is we will be retiring. Let's wait for July, so I can say July 4th, 1919 is when, in a huge ceremony, we retire these ships, which is actually going to give us a little bit of time to move some light cruisers, and the Grand Rapids are not being retired. You can bet your bottom dollar these guys are going to stick around. Actually, we probably need to rebuild them in 1913. It's been quite a few years, so let's get these guys up to speed. get them up to speed, literally, what would it cost to get these guys up to speed? Let's also check. So the rebuild, first of all, let's look at the cost. Because it's got to come down to whether or not it's worth it to rebuild versus just buy another one, which would be potent. Of course, one other thing that I wasn't really factoring in, which I should probably weigh in, is the fact that just rule the waves as a game, not in a real life situation, but rule the waves as a game. No, check. Doesn't really allow you to take advantage of all your ships. 25 million. Oh, so let's say 26 is probably down though. Yeah, 25. Okay, so let's just say 25. What I mean to say by this last comment is you usually only bring in a few ships, so you might as well make all your ships elite. There's not a strength in numbers. Rule of Waves doesn't allow you to swarm in fleet engagements. They're usually fairly balanced. So it does... this game mechanic should emphasize or should dictate that the player, or persuade the player, encourage the player to build really elite big ships and less of them. Okay, so let's see what this would happen. So this looks like it's doable. I mean, this is 26, 27. This is something. This is something, but. Well, okay, that's interesting. For the low price of 18 million. I'm not sure I remember this correctly. It wasn't 26 was the original cost, was it? It can't be. Yeah, 25. So for the low cost of an entire new light cruiser, you can upgrade the Grand Rapid speed from 23 to 27, put oil firing on, and nothing else. I don't know, call me crazy, but I feel like even if that's what it realistically would cost, from a game standpoint, you can never. I don't want to say that, because certainly in role playing, or because you want to, or if you have like this elitist thing where having faster ships is just better. So that in all these senses, you could justify using machinery, but from a min-max standpoint, it's very hard to make the case. I would say very hard to make the case. So, boy, where does that leave us? Because, gosh, we do have the money to do it. And I don't want the armored cruisers around. The O'Bannons have served us well. Thank you. Tip of the hat. Full salute. Full military honors for their retiring. They've served us very well. And Minnesota's as well. I mean, they haven't even really been in that many battles. But... but they're going to have to go, I think. Yeah. Because right now I'm thinking, we have the budget, why don't we just refit the machinery? But they could still be a liability, and the Grand Rapids won't be a liability even if we replace them. So I think what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to end up actually picking the worst cost effectiveness out of all of them. Getting the Grand Rapids up to 27. Is it going to take a year though? Yeah. No. For some reason, with these ships, it'll take a lot less. Now, they don't have director firing yet. That's unusual. We can get increased elevation as well. I think I'm going to do this, because this will help them in battles. We might as well up the rounds per gun a little bit. There's no reason not to. We have better quality 3-inch guns. We don't. 18. I mean, how much? We're building a new ship anyways. We might as well put 4-inch guns. Yeah, you know what? Forget it. Let's put the 4-inch guns as our secondaries. Why not? 140. I'm okay with that. Do we have better? We don't. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's just go for broke, right? I think that 5 4-inch guns per side with better quality, especially, is still worth it. Oh, 27 is actually going to be faster than we can deploy our torpedoes, though. 26 would still be pretty good, and then I could use that for more guns. Like so, and I can get... Wow, that's actually... I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of extra guns. We could do it, though. We could make them just destroyer killers. And I don't want to adjust this number after this. Wait, do we have mines yet? We have not, in 1919, as the United States, we still have not researched mine rails. Oh my. Okay, well, where else do we I guess we just go with this. I mean, it's got to be that. And five guns per side still feels pretty good. Definitely better than the 3-inch guns. We should just get rid of those if we're going to use... I mean, they're not going to be effective. We have bigger destroyers to kill. This is much better. I like the fact that this barely even increased the cost since we're already rebuilding the engine and everything. So, yeah, hard to say what I'd rather do. What we could do, another thing, is make this engine priority reliable, and I think that that helps them, and then these can become raiders. Although I think range is also factors into how long you can stay in foreign waters. Engine priority might affect more if you have breakdowns in combat. I don't remember, but I mean that's just what makes sense based on the words, the verbiage. Okay, but let's man, it's 20 minutes already in this episode. We haven't done anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're about to... I think that I'm okay with exactly this. 27, take it down, increase the caliber. Lots of torpedoes still. Oh. 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 Let's do it. Let's get F and G. This is already more torpedoes than we had. Well, kind of. We had 2 that could fire, plus they had 2 torpedo reloads each. So that's 3 times 2 per side. That was 6 per side, and now we only have 3 per side, but we can fire all 3 at the same time. So we can take this down, and we can do that. Or is it worth it to scrap the... Well, with 8-inch guns, we probably do need secondaries. Yeah, it's tough. Now I want the 26 back, but I can actually take advantage of the higher speed. I don't need... how expensive would it be to get one more? Alright, I think we stick with this, but let's put them in the middle of the ship, just because it'll look a little bit nicer. Does it? I don't know. They probably have them a little more front mounted anyways. They don't look good in either position because they're covering up a gun in either position, which is a little bit annoying. Okay, they're not totally covering up guns here. Let's put them there. That's where I'd want them anyway. So this is the ship. This is the new Grand Rapids. A great design. She's served us well. Great. I mean, this is a fantastic ship. We need to get her into the fight. And at 27 speed, she can... can she keep up with our battle cruisers? I don't think so. I think they're 28, right? I can't remember. Let's say the design is very expensive, but you know, like I said, you can't do this as many people, but you can do it as the United States. So that's going to be a lot of money. Pretty much our entire budget for a new ship, even. But we're going to get a lot of that money back as soon as we start scrapping these the O'Bannons. And I said I'd wait for July, but I'm not. I'm not going to do that for the O'Bannons. They've served us well. And who else? So I need to actually get some secondary ships over to these new locations. And the Galveston, this is the really old, terrible one. I mean, yeah, this is the one with the 2.5-inch turret, which was a mistake. So let's get these guys to move, shift over. We need, how much foreign tonnage do we need? 21 and 12. We need 21 and 12. Okay, so 21, this will satisfy the 12. You guys will be going to Northeast Asia. And you... 3 down here will be going to Southeast Asia. Wait, 3 is not... Can I do math? Can I math? What was it, 22? We're just short. So we need 4 of them. Was it 22? I have to go look. Shout at the screen louder, I can't hear you. It was 21. So 3 is fine. Hooray. I'm going to move this one to the west coast. So these guys will be my west coast ships then. Move to the west coast. Great. Okay, so that's a readjustment of all of our light cruisers, and once they get there, what's the Great Lakes? Oh yeah, the Great Lakes is a great ship, is what she is. Yeah, and she was built for 28, and she's actually exceeding her design speed, which is, I mean, always much appreciated. Stands to reason that the sandwich class, which has done very well, should also be scrapped in this scrapping affair. So we'll get rid of her. Big salute, because even though she did nothing, I guess, did she actually? No, yeah, she didn't do anything. How are we doing on destroyers otherwise? The Farragut, bit obsolete, but that's why she's more in the Pacific theater, where we don't expect to have as much trouble. And also still defending even the East Coast, where we probably won't have any trouble either. Even against maybe against the British, but unlikely. Hopefully not, because I really don't want these guys to go into service now. In fact, with the new knowledge that these ships can act towards invasion, I'm probably going to rearrange everything just to be very destroyer heavy in Southeast Asia. In fact, maybe every single one of these ships is going to go there. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Farragut, you guys are... Well, we'll move a few into Northeast Asia just to maintain some presence there, so they will only be in those two places. Speaking of those two places, let's just make sure we have... Base capacity is huge here, but let's get a little bit more. Why not? 160 in Southeast Asia at 304. It's more capacity than my entire fleet on the East Coast right now. I'm going to call that big enough. I'm going to call that plenty. Okay, let's see what other ships we can mess around with in this redesign episode. That's what it's going to be. Redesigns galore. Let's see. Well, it's redesigns and I don't know, redeploying. Because we haven't actually done any Oh yeah, these guys are going to be scrapped. We'll scrap the ones that are on the West Coast. So April, we'll make a new holiday. When was Memorial Day? Was it May? I think it was May. Yeah. So. But it'll be something for them to remember in May, that they are now part of the memorial, not part of the active service anymore. I'm making up stuff as I go along here. Okay. I think that's that. Bennies are these need to be rebuilt as well. And they're all in the Caribbean, that's fine. We'll open for rebuild. This is the gunship, that's right. So what is the gunship going to do? I mean, I'm not gonna replace machinery on destroyers. Are you out of your mind? I think this thing just gets rebuilt as is. It still has 3 torpedoes. That's not completely unusable. Okay, very good. And somehow, after all this mess, we're still only 8 million in the hole. I guess we've scrapped quite a few ships. Goodness. Those battleships were pretty expensive, it turns out. Farragut 1914. I think we're doing okay 5 years in. 1912 for the New Havens. Oh, the New Havens. I need more destroyers. I absolutely need more destroyers. Besides the Bennies, these Farraguts are not really supposed to be frontline. They're okay. But they're all going to Southeast Asia. The New Havens are very good, but we should build a new one. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do do I have a destroyer? I have Marshall on the list. That's a destroyer type. I think I'll just call this one the Cunningham class destroyer. Because these were people who will ask for anything. This was a person that asked for Cunningham as a battleship, but I'll give you a destroyer class. Okay, so let's actually go and do it. And I don't usually go up to the 1500. Whoops, what am I thinking? I don't usually go up to the 1500 ton limit. Are we limited to 1200 right now? No. Okay, we've already hit the 1500 ton limit. Okay, very good. I usually do around 12 or 13, so let's see what we can get for 12. Probably not enough. Just what the hey, dude? What the heck? This is actually a great ship. I had no part in building this. I mean, go for speed. Amazing. Okay, too much. 34's really fast. I think we can get another 2. Oh my god. Let's move this V back as far as she'll go. I knew it. I knew it would be centerline crowding. So we can't do this. And have I gotten quadrupled? No, I don't have quadruple. Damn. 6 torpedoes I'm still going to go with. I'd rather go with 6 torpedoes than have the rate of fire penalty or do any kind of business where we put launchers off to the sides, because I'd rather just basically decrease the tonnage if it comes down to that. And I guess it will. Wow. Just doesn't really feel right that we can get this kind of ship. And people who want guns can be impressed by this. 2 5-inch forward firing guns it's great. It's really good. The only thing you can say wrong about this, I don't think we can we can get 5-inch guns on only 1,100 tons of displacement? It doesn't seem right to me. There's no rate of fire penalty? It doesn't say anything. Huh. Okay, well, this is going to be quite a ship. The Cunningham class. I know, a little bit bizarre name for a destroyer. Maybe. It's the Cunningham class destroyer. I just feel like, what? Like, am I missing something? Is there something obviously wrong with this? It seems like too good to be true. I usually put as many torpedoes as I can, but it would require removing. It would require moving a gun. Because we can't get more than 5 things in the center line. Or we could just go up to 1,200 and deploy more torpedoes. But 6 torpedoes is kind of a lot. In the last engagement we had, what happened? We had destroyers firing torpedoes, and they were launching, I think, what's on our current ship? 6 torpedo tubes on these New Havens. Yeah, and they did run out of them pretty quick, but what will it get us to do this? How, I mean, swivel mount, yes. Notice we're not even allowed to put underwater torpedoes on these anymore. Oh no, you're never allowed to with destroyers. Let's do F and G 2. Much too much. Okay, it's just overweight though. We could... Yikes. That's pretty crazy because this is not just... First of all, let's move this back and then move P back by 1. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's perfect. It's meant to be. We've probably increased the total cost of this thing significantly, but you know what? I think that this is a beautiful ship. This is a beast of a destroyer. And we still got it in under 1,500 tons. Man. I get really excited about these things, don't I? Obviously, you'd much rather have these torpedoes in the center so they can fire either way. But with this many, you can... If you manage to get off 8 on one side... It's almost nice to have 2 on the other side, just so you know the destroyer doesn't go crazy and launch all 8 at, you know, merchant ships again. So we'll roll with this. This will be a good test. Usually your destroyers die so fast that probably it's better to only put 6 torpedoes on. They won't usually get a chance to launch all of them. We are playing captain's mode though, so there's a chance that they'll launch, you know, on their own, and that is a lot of destroyers. Let's build a ton of them though. Maybe 8 more, a total of 20. Let's just get 18. Even 16 seems like a good number. This will probably be the ones escorting our main fleet. So yeah, okay, let's get 18 because we're going to lose them and then we're going to want replacements. Yeah, and we still have more than 10 months of money available here. So this is going to be the whole episode, absolutely just designing. And only in a game like Rule the Waves could you do this. Okay, there's our 15-inch guns. I used to be a huge fan of this, but since I realized that 15-inch guns are the first ones with the lower rate of fire, the lowest rate of fire, 15, 16, 17, and 18 all share the same rate of fire, which makes 15 very low from a DPS standpoint, or damage per broadside. Because you should be firing the other guns more often, the 14 and lower, but not the 15s. So I'm like not as thrilled by discovering the 15-inch guns as I once was. 1919, a lot of refits in 1919. I like that. That's because, of course, we're looking at the yeah, the wrong screen. 1918. Does that mean that these are already refit as best as they can be? It looks like it. Wow, Mount Rainier is only at 13-inch guns? Jeez. They've been around a while as well. Okay. Ireland, that's going to be trouble for England. I guess this is a scripted event. Seems to happen every game. Well, it's June. We've at least advanced a few months. Okay. Okay. Just trying to figure out where all my ships are at. Let's get all the ones of the same class together. Even if that means the Caribbean. Caribbean, East Coast, Caribbean. You guys will be scrapped soon. What do we have? Oh, is it time? Looks like it is time for the Northeast Asia one. Goodbye, Georgia. I know Georgia was supposed to be somebody's buddy, but oh well. I split them up. I just remembered now at the end of the episode. Actually, if do we have all those if we have all those destroyers there, we might even be satisfying. No, not quite yet. 17 times 7. Oh, that's a messy amount of math. That's like 12,000 or so. That's not quite what we need. Okay, let's go one more turn, just so I can scrap these and I won't forget. Whoops. They want to buy, well, the Italians. I just don't care about Italy. You gotta be kidding me! What is this, 2 months after, 1 month after I actually built my destroyer? Oh well, it's fine. I think torpedo tubes are not too big of a deal as far as space savings. I don't think there is space savings. Let's look at this one class that I just built. What was it? Cunningham? Now let's pretend that we wanted to... We're at 0, so this is going to be really easy to remember. Just delete this, increase, increase, and actually let's add F and G back as 1. Yeah, it saved us 1 ton to do it this way, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, putting them like 4 and 4 like this would have been wonderful. Yeah, we'd be only, I don't know. I would have preferred this. Would we have gotten it down to 12? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's a much superior design if you ask me. I loved this thing so much, and then they had to go and do that to me. Look, you could even get more ammunition on it, which I think you would like to do. Well, 5-inch guns fire pretty slowly compared to 3 and 4, but oh well. It's still definitely a design I'm happy with. We just won't be building anymore because we know we can build something better from scratch now. All right, 1 more month. I think the Southeast Asia people have arrived, so we can do this finally. Scrap the last of our battleships. And we're all cleaned out for legacy ships that are not going to make the cut. Notice I said not going to make the cut because we still have some legacy ships, mainly the Great Lakes. And those will be staying around with us. Wait, not the Great Lakes. The other name that is also Grand Rapids. The Grand Rapids will be staying around with us until the end of the series, I'm sure. Okay, so that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. This is just a design episode. I don't know how boring those are. It was fun for me, at least. Hope it was fun for you. So, until the next episode, thanks for watching, and take care.